think the 60% of the Netherlands is vulnerable to flooding, which is undeniable. And also the parties who have a skeptical view on climate change know that it is necessary to protect the Netherlands. And a lot of the things we have to do, we also have to do without climate change. The thing climate change does is that it, let's say, enlarges the job we have to do. And it enlarges the job, we don't know with how much and exactly when, but we know it enlarges it. So we make sure that the measures we take can be adapted to the developments we are going to see. So we, maybe that's the shortest answer, we explain that we do not take unnecessary measures, but that we are able to respond when needed. And that's something you cannot be against.
That's what I wanted to say is exactly that. I mean, regardless of whether we think that this is an increasing trend or not, there are impacts now. There are things that are happening now, and for which a lot of the member states, a lot of systems within the member states are not prepared, and we see it with the cost, with the loss of lives, etc. It means that something needs to be done. This something is what we need to define. And the issue, there are 2 or 3 messages I think the public needs to hear, i.e., we cannot fully climate-proof. We cannot avoid damages. We can prepare for them. And then the question that a policymaker needs to ask is, first of all, understanding the vulnerability of its own economy. I mean, going from understanding the vulnerability of one's farm, if you're the farmer, to understanding the vulnerability of your economy if you are the Minister of the Economy. So the question is understanding how your system is vulnerable to these things, for lack of a better word, that are happening. And build into your decision making, and therefore also in the costs that you're ready to face now and those that you want to push into the future, build some flexibility. Phase your responses, because there isn't one future. We have to stop thinking that there is one future and we know it. There are many futures. They're uncertain. To quote Rumsfeld, we don't know what we don't know, and that is the problem in climate change. And we have to build into our decision making this capacity to respond to future knowledge. So whether this is man-made or not, whether this is going to continue or not, it doesn't matter. We need to face the risks, understand the vulnerabilities that we're all facing now at all different levels, from the farm all the way up to the economy. Understand how we might be able to react to them. Pick the low-hanging fruits first, the things that you should be doing anyway, and we haven't done them in a number of situations. Water demand management, water efficiency, energy efficiency. And maybe reserve the more costly path for a second stage, unless it's too costly for you not to do that now. There are ways of addressing uncertainty, and we've always addressed uncertainty. The world has always been uncertain. This is just a different aspect.
And the climate to not believe in the climate change argument, to take on board what those climate skeptics are saying, is a dangerous gamble.
Yes.
The evidence is certainly, as has been explained, things are changing, and they're changing in a way that we really have not seen before, and so you have to take account of that, whether you believe it's anthropogenic climate change or not.
And just to complement the answer to you also, it is, as you say, that things in Austria are different than Netherlands. Of course, that's why we say, and I've also said in it's here. I've also said it in the when we were at the conference that the issue with adaptation is that it's local and regional. So there's the importance that my commissioner said for member states to have their national adaptation strategies in order to plan to see what are the risks, the vulnerabilities, and our climate adapt help on that. And we have models and we have things that can help on designing and seeing what are my vulnerabilities, my risks, and then seeing and planning for the future, for the present and the future, in terms of exactly having their strategy or plan on how to deal with these risks and vulnerabilities and having solutions for them. From the cross-sectoral, from different sectors, and also at different levels of the governance, at local, regional and national level.
Just one thing to add. So.
I'm just honored to put a good question.
No, especially regarding this skepticism, just to tell you that when you run a water supply, you have monitoring. When you start with water supply, you start more or less with online monitoring. You look for your water resources because look, this is your main good you have. So you look for water quantity, you look for water quality, you look for changes, you ask why there are changes, yes, how can I say, you put it on Excel sheets, you do assessments, so it's more or less natural, and water industry, they are professionals, they have to look, they have to care about their resources, and so they are very well and very early aware if there are any changes and start to think and to consider how they have to react. So it's more or less it's in the system. It's more or less intrinsic that you look what happens with your resources in terms of availability and quality. Just to add that.
Very much.